Hello. Can everybody hear me okay? I hope so. It's another late night tales. Okay, good. You guys can hear me. Yeah, it's late. It's when I tend to come on. How's everybody doing? Hey, Virginia. So. Hey, Jose. Sorry, I'm shuffling. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let's see if I can get myself situated. Hey, Trillium. You're lucky. Alrighty. Let's see if I can turn this up a little bit. It's as good as it's going to get. All right. Okie dokie. Grand tableau. The orange mango. He's sitting right here. We have bear in its own house. Ring and mice are marrying. You have ring in the house of mice, mice in the house of ring, criminal conspiracy. The sun, it's in its own house as well, and the bear is in its own house. So we're talking about loads and loads and loads of heat and success in regards to criminal conspiracy or some sort of an agreement to steal something that is financial. Okay, that's the main thing that's coming up just because of the house placements. He's sitting here in house child with the tree over his head. The tree is also close to the woman. Normally when the tree is this close, we're looking at health issues. He's got the mountain right here and the coffin right there. So this could be some sort of a illness. I'm not going to say tickets to the park though, because of where the coffin is sitting. It's too far away from the edge, and all the cards that come after it. It's not tickets to the park. This could be in regards to depression, obstacles and blockages as well. So right here, we're seeing that something has been achieved, or there's news that will be arriving about some sort of a change that has been in the works for a very long time in regards to commerce and business enterprise, with the lilies in the house of ship. Okay. There's something here as well in regards to the health and stability of a woman in the family, and news about her that's not yet known. Could also be in regards to a health issue about her that has not been reported. Okay. She sits close to him, and she sits on house tree, and the tree is above him. So this could also, because she's sitting on house tree and she's got the coffin close by, and this is joy and happiness. This could be in regards to like some sort of serious depression here with her. But it's almost like she's medicated. Here, perhaps something small, medicated, that brings temporary or small little bits of a small reprieve. She's got the clover following the coffin here, so it's probably popping pills. So in regards to the financial stuff and the criminal conspiracy, there is this person here, dog in the house of stars. This could be a coworker or a person that he is no longer friends with because of what follows in between. Got the snake here. So there was some sort of a betrayal to this person. He gifted something that became a betrayal, financial, to this person, because the fox is here. This was someone that he employed at one point. This person has knowledge, and they have been speaking and communicating with and providing access and information and answers. Okay, so I'm not sure who this is. Could be like a Michael Cohen or something. I'm not sure. Or it could also be like a Weiselberg as well, because the bear right here is financial. For legal stuff, that doesn't show up until this is his current line for March. So this would be April and May. So if anything happens legally, it would be maybe within the next 2 months, because that's where the Tower shows up. Right here. And then there's legal disputes. And then he goes to court. There's something here that he's guilty of in regards to manipulating results of the election this way. But it's behind him. So if I go this way around, let me see. Let me see here. This woman here, there's an obstacle or some sort of a delay that gets put down. There's an indictment here as well that's desired, that gets delayed, and it looks like it's closed, but then it reopens again this way. So there we have something that's dangerous, a desire, something written by mail, and this knights over to the Tower. So this is some sort of an indictment. There's a delay here, and it looks like it gets closed, but actually that delay gets taken over because Mountain is in the House of Garden. So a delay or a blockage or an obstacle or an obstruction in regards to something in society or a community or something that's very, very popular where there's a large audience, and then ends coffin in the House of Mountain. And then after here, it resolves and it moves forward very, very quickly. So there's almost like a temporary delay. And because of this over here, this looks like it's stuff around the elections. Because there's the elections, achievement, the election results for him, Moon in the House of Man. There's the guilt and pain and suffering for the elections, and then the manipulation of results for the many that became problematic here with the clouds right underneath it. So that's what this looks like. This line right here where there's a temporary delay where this woman is seeing some sort of an obstacle in the courts, but then it moves forward. Traditionally, Carol, it's the wife. And because she's so close to him by near and far, that tells me it's the wife. Thank you, Grace. So that would be Melania. And because she's close to the house here, it's somebody in the family very close to him this way. No, that's not E. Jean Carroll. It's not any other woman. It's not Fannie Willis. This is his wife because she sits close to him and the house is right next to her. There's a mistress here, though. There's a mistress here. There's something going on with the mistress there as well that's being investigated. Snake in the House of Fox. Fox in the House of Whip. Sex. There's your sexual relationship here. This woman here. There's an investigation into a sexual relationship. And that sexual relationship goes back to this person, and there's the financing here. And then if you follow this line down, there's something old here that came out of the business. It happened a while ago. It came out of the business, and I say that because Lily sits in the house of ship commerce. Fraud for sex, Fox in the house of whip. Working for sex, sex work with Fox and whip. Manipulative arguments with Fox and whip. The result or the receipts here, legal in the court. And there's the payments with the fish. Fish in the house of letter. They have receipts. And then, what do you call this? Letter Knights over to the Tower. It's legally documented, these checks. This would be like paper money checks. Something in the mail that has money, or you go shopping. And then when you follow this line, you have the lilies in the house of ship. So something old in regards to commerce. Fox in the house of whip. So like I said before, sex work, manipulative arguments, fraudulent arguments, legal paperwork. It's official. Letter in the house of Tower. Fish in the house of letter. So there's your checks. And then right below it, you have the crossroads, or I'm sorry, the clouds. Now this is hesitation, doubt, uncertainty, trouble, but it could also signify bad weather. So if we read it down, it's how the checks were manipulated through his business for payment for bad weather, if you want to take it that way. But that doesn't show up. It's like this thing takes a while for it to achieve, because here's May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. For this whole, if this is Stormy Daniels, for that whole thing to be completely finalized. So because up here it says achieving some sort of change or improvement is going to take some time. So even if Alvin Bragg is looking into this and they indict him, according to this tableau, if I'm looking at this correctly, legal problems show up within the next 2 months. Okay, there's going to be some sort of a delay somewhere also with this stuff here, with the election stuff and everything. But the gifts and stuff for the friend that he betrayed, that got in trouble, within the next 2 months, for its complete resolution, it takes a while for it to swing right around. So even if he gets indicted next month, it's still going to be a while for him to be convicted. Does that make sense? So it's not like they're going to indict him and then cart him off to jail the next month, you know? So there's that. The corners are the anchor, book, key, and mice. Whatever he covered up, because this is achieving and persistence, a secret, well, that secret is revealed, and it reveals losses, thievery, and criminality. Criminal conspiracy, mice in the house of ring, ring in the house of mice, financial. financial stuff. With the bear is also power, and the sun is triumph and success and optimism. So it's almost like the bear is very overbearing, and with the sun it's almost like tyrannical, like a dictator, because it's a lot of power, a lot of force, and then you have a bunch of energy behind it. So this is power, force, strength, food, your diet, your stomach. And then with this, a lot of powerful energy. This is like the boss, the executive. Okay. With that, powerful energy, powerful boss, dictator sort of thing. So it's not just secrets that are revealed in regards to criminality that are financial in nature, but also secrets revealed in regards to criminal conspiracy with the mice in the house of ring, ring in the house of mice, in regards to clinging on to power. And what the bear usually clings to, or what usually has its weight on it, is the card right below where the paw is hitting, which hits on ring. Ring goes to the mice, mice goes to the ring. So there's the feedback in the news, which is a lie, okay, and very problematic writer in the House of Snake, to cling to power through criminal conspiracy. And then right here, another way to read it is these people here, and I say people because you've got birds right here. Birds is the card of communication, meetings, negotiations, dating, voicemails, phone calls, anything where you're communicating verbally. Okay, so, and this is card number 12. This usually pertains to a small group of people. Traditionally, it's an older couple, an older man and an older woman. But I wouldn't be surprised also if this is in reference to the people that were advising him to what? To this right here on how to cling to power through a lie. And then snake knighting over here to birds, lying about something, communicating a lie, and having knowledge that it's a lie. Snake knights over here to book, snake knights to sun, it gets revealed, snake to tower, lying to the courts, and huge problems in court. And then here you got the legal disputes, tower and whip. So that's coming up within the next 2 months for the legal stuff to hit. He's going to have an abundance of legal issues. Man, knights here to fish, knights to tower, an abundance of legal issues, and also isolation. If you look here, he's blocked. He is blocked. Okay. Also, another important thing here with these corners, achievement and arrival with the book here. The book is in regards to secrets, to knowledge, to projects. It could be a literal book. It could be a laptop in regards, if we're looking at it as symbolically. But something very important that was classified, that was very, very important. He opened that box and stole it. Stolen stuff that was classified. Okay. Here with the mountain, it sits right below him. So it's almost like there's another issue here with the tower and him. See, he knights here, man, knights here to tower. Well, if we look at this tiny little section here, if I'm looking at the corners that's saying something achieved here, okay, persistent, there was persistence here in regards to something classified that was opened and stolen, those documents were blocked. So another legal issue here is obstruction. He obstructed. In that case is very, 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 very solid. Very solid. The tree, in the grand tableaus, the closer it is, the more, traditionally it means that the closer it is to you, pay attention to your health. Okay. But the tree, think of the roots. The roots is going all down here. The roots of a tree don't go upside down like this, they go down. Okay. So when you think about it like that, the root of this problem is all right here, down here, if that makes sense. So there's a solid case here of him obstructing, documents obstructed, documents obstructed here. Documents were moved with the storks. The storks is improvement. It's like moving resonance. Okay. It's changes, pregnancies. Okay. So documents were moved, relocated, overturning an election here. Guilty of that too. I'm telling you, there's an abundance of legal issues. But it's like this one here and this one, if I follow this line this way, if I'm looking at the documents that were moved documents. Now I'm confusing myself because here's talking about the classified stuff that was stolen, and he wasn't the only one who stole it. There's like a team of people that worked together. Okay. Classified, opened, stolen. The classified documents case, for an indictment on that one, it still looks like it's a little bits a ways because you would have to wrap around a tableau like this. Even though that information is rock solid, there's still something else that's being looked into and investigated. And it's almost like, here's the missing documents here. Stolen, the card of the thief, the mice, knight's over here, to the letter, which the letter sits on house tower, and then it knights to tower. There's still stuff that's missing. This right here, this is on house book. Okay. Stolen documents. The stars is success. It's something very vast and widespread. Guidance. But in this sense, it looks like there's an overabundance of stuff that was stolen. Because it's vast. With the stars, vast, a lot. With fish here, it says again, a lot. Stars is sitting on house book. If we're reading book as something that is classified and secret, stars would be, this would be energy. So electricity, light bulbs, that sort of thing. This is more like radiation and nuclear. Okay. And if you look across this line, these two mirror. Okay. What it looks like, there's, because it's showing an investigation here, documents that were stolen, investigating the documents, legal documents, government documents. It looks like there's also an investigation to determine if there was some sort of transaction or a sale here, because the fish is abundance, it's prosperity, shopping. This is like your paper checks, letter and fish, paper checks. Okay. So that might be something that they're looking into to see if there was a tit for tat. But it looks to be a bit obscured. Okay. Let me see. over here. He's got an enemy right here too. Mountain, obstruction, obstacles, delays, traditionally a powerful enemy. He's got an enemy, and if you follow it down, this sits on garden. Garden is sitting right here. He's got an enemy, an opponent in the public sphere that he's trying to outshine. Now, the moon is sitting close, okay, but it's got the mountain right over it, so it almost negates it. The sun is far away, so there's no success there. The stars is within reach, but it's followed here by clouds at the catty corner. This doesn't work out for him. Whoever this opponent is, there's a win against this person. It comes through verbal criticism with the birds and whip. It comes through verbal criticism. It's almost like there's an audience that kind of drank the Kool-Aid, garden in the house of fish, that will follow him to the end of the earth, even if it means drinking bleach and getting unalived. They'll do it. This enemy, this opponent, is small to him. But it's almost like he wins over this person through bad mouthing this way. I would not also be surprised, based on this line down here, if there is some sort of, if he's consulting for some sort of online media campaign to attack and win this way. What the hell is this? Sorry, something popped up on my computer and I don't know what it was. I must have hit something. Okay. Let me see here. This card right here, Snake in the House of Fox. Snake in the House of Fox. But there's, with this right here, cross and crossroads, there's multiple charges coming his way as a result of the investigation, but it's going to take a little bit. It's not immediate because it needs to wrap around this way and then come back this way. And that's when there's whatever comes before the crossroads is double or multiples. So there's more than one coming as a result of the investigations this way. Whip knighting to Fox, abusing power here. Abusing his finances here. Now let me see here. Down this column here, news of his trouble or his lies have ended, but his reputation has been ruined this way, on this line of influence. Allies are not close to come by. What is this? Dog is too far away, out of reach. Garden is too far away and out of reach. And it's got the the mountain here. Let me see here. But snake in the house of fox. Trouble at work, lying about work, a liar and a manipulator, a liar and a con man. So if we read it simply, the man is gifted at lying for power or financial trust or gain here. But it's gonna no bueno. Where's the cross? Cross is over here. Let me see here. Down this line here, because the tree is right over him, there might be an illness that is related to aging with the lilies. Because this is health and it's really close. This is talking about some sort of an illness. This is something chronic. You follow this line up here. This is aging. An aging man that's chronically ill this way. In regards to health, this would be blockages, headaches, migraines. This would be eyesight and hearing. But it's looking more like I'm not a doctor, okay? No, lungs are not supported. Lungs is the clouds and it's far away from him. I'm not a doctor. I don't give medical advice. And I don't read my cards to give medical advice, because next thing you know, man's got gingivitis, freaking pancreatitis, diabetes, failing kidneys, failing lungs, and everything else at the book that you're going to throw the book at him. And, next thing you know, it's like, how the hell is he alive? All I'm saying is that there's something here to do with his health. Okay. Blockages, headaches here. It's a serious illness that's chronic and it has to do with aging. So this would be like the health of some health related issues that come with aging. Okay. So just saying, don't be putting words in my mouth, people. Don't be going on over there on the internet. Well, Becca said, no, I did not say any of that stuff. I'm just saying, I can sit here and tell you what each card means, but I'm not going to do that because, like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a healthcare professional, and I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he's got vision problems and heart problems and he's constipated and he has headaches and his arteries are shit. And no, I ain't doing that. What is that? Halitosis of the mostis? Yeah. Let me see what else. So it looks like within the next 2 months is when legal issues start to come up. One may involve the family and the organization that was perhaps an organization that had commerce that his kids may have been involved in, because the kids are suffering or they're going to have to be sacrificed. Child in the House of Cross. Okay. There's also another one that may revolve around his campaign and how the money was gifted to his campaign, because it's clouds, garden, ship, and child. And the garden is sitting very, very close to the tower. It's catty cornering. So, let me see here. Tower is sitting on housewoman. There is one legal issue down this column here, the very last column, that has to do with widespread criminal conspiracy to gain the majority through public office and some sort of marketing campaign. That legal issue is going to work in the favor of a woman that's in law, one way, shape, or form. That's this line down here. When that happens, I don't know, because it's this line. It's a horizontal, not a vertical. So I can't tell you. Because here it looks like this woman here moves on, but it says this way that that fight is very successful and it provides a lot of answers to uncovering the secrets of a team of people that were in agreement to steal something. With the anchor, achieve, projects, secrets with the book, answers, and then stolen, thievery. The center of the tableau is the man with the bouquet, the mountain, and the coffin. So he obstructs, he delays. Happy, 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 joy, joy. Oh, look at that. You're depressed because you're happy, happy, joy, joy of stifling stuff and putting the brakes on things doesn't work because of what follows. If you follow it down this way, it's the moon and then the tower. If you follow it this way, it's the what do you call it? The clover. So let me see. So a change or an improvement or some sort of a move, something that he desires, abundance of legal issues for him and his family as well as property. That's where he knights. He's hoping, he wants to change the abundance of legal issues that's hitting him and his family. But it's like with the corners, no. And it looks like a child will be sacrificed or they're the ones that get punished. Now, if this is not in regards to a child, there may be something here that is very problematic. It has caused problems for the organization or that network of commerce, and whatever is issued may be very small. Okay. So for instance, what's her name? Tish James. If this is in regards to the Trump organization, because it's Garden. Garden deals with organizations and networks, and it's in the house of fish, which is abundance, prosperity, shopping, your money. Okay. Followed by ship, which is enterprise. The whole situation with the civil suit also, because this is Garden. Garden is civil, society, a large group of people, popularity, somewhere where you would have an audience. Okay. The civil suit will be the smallest of his problems. And what if there's more than the one for Trump Oregon, there's other civil lawsuits because it's sitting. Garden's right here. It's sitting in the house of fish. Okay. Fish is touching it. Look what's right above it. Lawsuits. Okay. If he's got, and here it says abundance. So there might be an abundance of civil litigations against him. Okay. The results of those, the punishment for those might be the most minimal ones, if that makes sense. Because child is small. New. Okay. So If that's making any sense at all. I hope it did. How many civil lawsuits does he have right now besides Tish James? Because there could be more. This is an abundance of stuff that's civil because it's sitting on House Fish. So I could read it as an abundance of civil cases against him. Those look to be small. And there is also the possibility of adding to it. Because up here we have the storks. Something that has been achieved or established gets added to or improved over time. The E. Jean Carroll case, the Capitol police officers, there's an abundance of civil suits. So take a number. See? Big trouble. Big trouble. And the way that this is hitting this way, these two right here, okay, this is the worst card in the entire deck, not only by suit. If you look there, that's the King of Clubs. Okay, so as far as suit, it's the worst. It's worse than the Coffin. Okay, this right here, because the stars is so vast and widespread nightmare. Vast problems, like huge, like slinging shit at the wall and you can't get it off sort of problems. Traditionally, this combination means a series of unfortunate events. So it's like once they open up that can of worms, good luck putting a stop to it because it just steamrolls. Does that make sense? This right here, especially with this, the letter is close enough. Very, 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 very bad news. Very bad news. Like an abundance of bad news coming in. So not just checks that we talked about, legal paperwork, an abundance of paperwork that was stolen. That is legal because this sits on House Tower. Payments and checks here, but also mail or letters, in abundance of bad news. So, but that's still, he's still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more months before more shit hits the fan. So he's got enough already, but then in about 7 months, it'll be a volcano of, if I'm reading this correctly, because this is May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So in about 7 months, shit hits the fan. And it looks like it could be in relation to the stolen election, the conspiracy here with the mice in the house of Ring, an agreement for a group to steal something in regards to the election, fraudulent ballots, electors that are fraudulent, guilty, the elections fraudulent, what they were submitting to overturn or change the results here. That looks like it comes up in about 7 months. So perhaps in about 7 months, because here it says we're going to achieve something. It's just going to take a little bit with the lilies. And with the storks here, that's, like I said, a change, an improvement, adding to this right here would be overturning the election, changing the election. If it was this way, that would mean that the election has improved. If it's this way, it's talking about changing it. Does that make sense? It's the order of the cards. So in about 7 months is when all of that culminates, when they have gathered sufficient evidence and paperwork and the referral has been made. because this would also be the referral being made. This could also be in regards to Pence. Okay. This is a person that worked with him. Remember, we followed this line, and I was saying, I don't know if this is Michael Cohen, this, that, and the other thing, simply because there's financing and a sexual relationship. Well, if you look at this line again, guilty, the elections, overturning the elections, election fraud, results are fraudulent, him, okay, being happy and joyful, betraying a powerful friend. This could also be Mike Pence. If this is Mike Pence, I believe he is currently trying to scoot out of that subpoena from, what's his face, Jack Smith. If this is Mike Pence, 1, 2, 3, 4, in about 4 months, he talks. If I'm counting it this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, he does testify. He has knowledge. That person talks and gives answers. But it's almost, with this right here, it's almost like he has to be bullied into it. So, but this, what this person has to say is very important if you follow this line. Knowledge, secrets, the friend that he betrayed. There's the birds. So this person talks, and what he says gives answers. And it may give answers. The key sits on house moon, and the moon sits back on house man. His emotional state. Okay. The way that they were marketing everything here, who he spoke with on the phone, what they discussed. So it's almost like this person, what they say is crucial. And then once that hits, and then it swings back around this way, and then it goes into the whole election fraud, overturning election, fake electors, criminal conspiracy to cling on to power, yada, 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 yada. So there you go. But it looks like, if I'm interpreting this correctly, the whole Jack Smith stuff, I would go about another 7 months, give or take, on either end. Because I'm going, here's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But there's something else that hits legally here, and it looks more like financial stuff in regards to a sexual relationship with a mistress here with the snake. The snake is the queen of clubs. But even then, that still takes just a little bit for this to resolve as well. So this one comes first. Whatever this case is, if I follow this line up, there might have been a child in the family involved in this somehow, because there's the family. Okay. House is sitting on the house of clouds. So we're looking at 2 men here who are male. I say that because the child is the Jack of Hearts. Okay. The house is the King of Hearts. It's sitting on house clouds, which is the King of Clouds. So there's possibly 2 men. Okay. There's the snake. The snake is a liar, a betrayer. The other woman, very vicious. And I say that because she is the queen of clubs. Okay. So perhaps a male or 2 males, younger in the family, were involved in this situation for the sex. I don't know. Don't know. Wait, hold on. What's the name of one of the kids signed off on a check to Stormy Daniels, didn't they? Can somebody remind me if one of the kids signed off a check to Donald Trump Jr., or was it Eric? One of the boys signed a check. Junior, because like I said, there's a child here in the family that gets caught up in this. And this is at the bottom of the line, the child. You can't see it because the camera's crossing it off, but there's problems. This person here, this is sitting on house cross. Cross is sitting on house bouquet. Bouquet sits on house child. This child gifted something. It was a gift, okay? Some sort of a reward or something. But because he sits on house cross, this child gets burdened or punished in some way. Sacrificed. Okay? So that whoever that is going to shoulder a burden for this whole situation of some sort of a gift to the mistress here. Okay? That shows up 2 columns ahead from him. So within the next month or 2, maybe. We'll have to keep an eye out. Let's see. He would consider it a small sacrifice that he's happy to make because it's child in the house of cross, cross in the house of bouquet, bouquet in the house of child. So one way to interpret that is he's happy, or he will be satisfied making that small sacrifice. Okay, small with the child, sacrifice with the cross. It could also mean another way to interpret that is he's happy to sacrifice one of his kids. So, you know, homeboy's gonna be throwing everybody under the bus. Let's see. Hold on. Let me go get you guys. Hold on. I had made some coffee. I'm gonna go grab a little sip. 1 second. I gotta get up too because my butt's going numb. Get my water. Okay, so let me see here. He's sitting on house birds. Okay. Nervous. Mice is more anxiety. Birds is very nervous energy. So he may be meeting with people on how to delay the legal cases coming. Let me follow his chain real quick. Okay, so his line, hold on, 8 to 12, 24 to 18 to 16 to 26 to 8 to 21 to 20 to 34, 27, 19, 29, 5, 4, 6, 33, 32, 28. Okay. His chain around is man to birds, to the heart, dog, stars, book, coffin, mountain, garden, fish, letter, tower, woman, tree, house, key, and then moon, and then back to him. Okay, so quick and dirty on that chain. He's currently negotiating what he desires with advisors for guidance privately on how to end or obstruct. Perhaps something to do with the public or where there's a large audience of people. Okay, because it goes back to Garden. Garden sitting here with this tower, I'm wondering if that's in reference to some sort of a grand jury. Even though grand juries aren't huge, but it's still a large group of people. And it's public office or something in government that is overseen by the public. Does that make sense? For the abundance of legal paperwork that's coming in, a very passionate woman somewhere in that's local, how he can cause problems or how they can cause problems to give him access to clear his reputation. I would not be surprised if his lawyers have made phone calls to representatives in Georgia because it's Tower Woman. Okay. In this context, we're talking about Melania. In the case of the law, we're talking about a woman because it's Tower and then woman. Okay. I hope that clears it up. So here it's Melania. I'll say it again. Right here, it's Melania. When I look at Tower, it's a woman that's in government. Okay. Now, closer to home. So I'm wondering if, and because Garden is in the mix, I'm wondering if this is more on the civil end with Letitia James, because it's somewhere where he resided with the house right there. So for them to kind of figure out how they can shut this thing down. Thank you, Tribal Woman. Also, perhaps negotiating some sort of a payment for the organization because it's Garden, which is civil, and it's also a network and organization, followed by Fish. This is transactions and payments. Okay. Legal records here, checks. That woman is very solid, and it's from somewhere where he resided or he has property. So I don't, to my knowledge, I don't know if he's got property in Georgia. You guys let me know. But this might be more like Letitia James, New York. that's causing problems for him that he wants cleared up for bragging rights to make himself look good. But he's very nervous about it, and he's meeting with lawyers in private to figure out what to do about that situation. Because it's almost like they know that it's heading towards a shutdown this way. It closes. Knowledge. The book sits on house coffin, and coffin is over here. So it's almost like he knows that is the organization could be closing. The Trump org could be closing because it's book, coffin, mountain, and then garden and fish. But there's also something here. Hold on. Hold on. Garden, fish, letter, tower. It's almost like if this because let me see if I can. This is Trump org, closes, and then it goes tower and letter in that line. No, Harold, he's not. Tower and letter. It's almost like I'm wondering if he's going to try to submit paperwork to start a new one, almost like under a different name. Because storks, knights here to letter, letter, knights to tower, changing the documents, and then here, the documents for a company, documents for an organization that's new or smaller, that's commerce. So it's almost like he's going to try to find a way to start a new organization. Do the same thing again under a different name. Does that make sense? It looks like the one that's by his home, or where he resided, where he had property, man to house, his property, okay, family property, where he lives, that one, there's news that he knows that this thing's about to close. Okay, if we're looking at the charges, again, storks, 2 letter, knights here, 2 tower. Okay, if we're looking at numbers 17, 27, 19, 17 charges. Storks is number 17. 17. Can you see that? 17 legal documents here, filings, letter, knights here to cross, guilty. And then with here, it's sudden. There's punishment and something gets dissolved and taken away because of a criminal conspiracy. So I don't know how many charges Trump org has. If I read 17, 27, 19, maybe 17 charges, but they're guilty, and it gets dissolved and taken away because of an agreement to steal something. Does that make sense? But like I said, he may be meeting with people to try to start up a new one, because this right here, problems and trouble, there's the organization, there's commerce, and there's something new. Okay? So that's why I'm saying I'm wondering when those when it gets closed, because it's almost like they're anticipating it. It's like he knows it's coming. Like they try to start up a smaller venture. 17 counts all guilty. Wait, hold on. What? What are you guys talking about? Lucky, what are they talking about? 17 counts. And if he does try to start the new one, that one gets in trouble too. Child in the house of cross. And then follow this line down. Cross, scythe, mice. If he tries to start a new one, he's going to have to do it somewhere else. Ship and child. Wait, hold on. Well, Dumpy Org did get found guilty for like 17. Oh, Trump Org. So it did have 17 guilty counts. Okay. And he got issued an independent monitor for Trump Org to oversee any financial stuff because of the ruling. That's blocked right now. It's blocked temporarily, like I said earlier. Remember when I was following this line, I said there's something in the courts that's blocked and it looks like it ends, but then it comes back up again and it moves forward. That's this line right here. Oh, that's why Weiselberg is at Rikers Island. That's right. This could also be Weaselberg as well. So we're looking at Weaselberg. These are people that have worked with him in some sort of advisory role that had executive or powerful positions. Mike Pence. What's his face? Michael Cohen, Alan Weisselberg. Advisors in executive or powerful positions that he has betrayed. And I say that because it's man, garden, snake. He's betrayed these powerful executive people. So hey, Peggy, I didn't even see you in there. You snuck in. You snuck in, girlfriend. How you doing, Mom? So what questions do you guys have in the tableau? Because it's all here. I can find it. You're in bed? You're in bed listening in. Well, it's good to have you. It's late over here. It doesn't even feel, because I hate the stupid time change, dude. It says 10:30, and I swear I feel like it's only like 8 o'clock. Has he tried to restart his business in Florida? I'm not sure. But I say go ahead, because Ron DeSantis is like a little freaking tyrant himself as well. And he will, because he keeps over there like using Ron DeSantis as a punching bag. I want to see both of them go at it, and Ron DeSantis block him from being able to open up a scammy business in Florida. No, Miss B. I said it's currently being investigated or will soon be being investigated, but I don't see China. Dog is over there, ship is over here, too far away. He already tried to start 2 new ones and Trish James stopped it. Yeah, out of in New York, right? Will he lose Mar-a-Lago? Okay. Mm. I'm curious to know which one Mar-a-Lago is because does he currently, well, Mar-a-Lago is his temporary house, right? He doesn't live there year round, correct? Because I don't think he's allowed to stay in Mar-a-Lago permanently. So I'm not sure whether I should be looking at house because that would be his residence where he lives, or down here at Garden, which would be like a huge outdoor park type area. Um, I would venture to say no. However, with that said, there is the potential for for him to lose a property. I can't tell you which one it is because house, Nights down here to Coffin. This would be like a foreclosure of some sort. Bear, Nights here to Coffin. It Nights to Whip. It Nights to Key. Foreclosure, bankruptcy, financial disputes that are very important and significant. But I don't know what property that is. I can't tell you. It's not Trump Tower because Tower sits down here. It's too far. Let me see. Lucky girl, anything in there about Rona Graff talking to any prosecutors, long-standing executive assistant to Donald Trump and senior vice president? Like I said earlier, there is an executive position type person here that's talking. Or not talking right now because this shows up ahead, that will be talking. Lucky girl. So anybody that fits that role, Mike Pence, Michael Cohen, Weiselberg, anybody that's an executive or in a powerful position that was employed by him or worked for him. And the only reason I say that is because if you follow this line, the fox is right there that's talking about employment. You follow it straight across. So there's these people. And that person talks. In reference to Mike Pence or whoever this person is, about it shows 4 columns ahead. So I would say about 4 months, give or take on either side. It's a house. There's a house that forecloses. This is foreclosure. There's a contract on this home. Foreclosure, and then a contract. Bankruptcy, Bear to Coffin, Bear to Whip, financial arguments or arguments over finances, very significant and important. So The final straw for his followers to walk away? There isn't one. This would be like the followers. Okay? Nothing. They still have hope. Dog in the House of Stars. They still look at him for guidance. Dog guides and the stars guide. So it's like they still look to him for guidance. Well, Tish James's situation is civil. I don't know if she can make it criminal, but I know that hers is civil. The diehard, they won't. When you think about a dog, it's trust, it's friendship, loyalty, guidance. The stars are guidance as well. Why? Because it refers to maps, how people used to navigate. So you would look at the stars for guidance on how you would navigate. So hopeful guidance. You know, I mean, these are people that never once thought it was a good idea to drink bleach until he said it. And then they were like, that sounds great, you know? So, I mean, you tell me. Alvin Bragg. Alvin Bragg is almost like lining up parallel to Tish James. And it's all on this line. It's all on this line. So it's almost like they're like this. They're running, even though one is civil and one is criminal, it's almost like they're running in the same, they're on the same road. Does that make sense? So I'm going to look at the Tower again because that's coming up for him next month. Obstructions and delays, and there's a couple of choices here. No, they're not both civil, Lonnie. Letitia James is going after the civil case for Trump org. Alvin Bragg is going after the criminal case for the payments to Stormy Daniels. Okay, just to clarify that. So obstructions and there's a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of a win here. Okay. There's some legal fight here. And then there's something that is civil or with the public. Let me see, ship and house anchor. I don't like this here. I do not like this here at all. I don't like that kid being there because here's the thing. Oh, no. The reason I'm saying I don't like that here because child is something new, something small. Also innocent. Innocent. However, it's sitting on the house of cross. So there might be more than one count, and he might not be charged or indicted on all. And here, opportunity for sex, a risk for sex, a hope for sex. And then here is innocence or something small. Repeated obstructions and obstacles, chronic obstacles and obstructions. Child in the house of cross. It could also mean like the guilt or the punishment is small. Or we would think it would be small. How many years did Michael Cohen do for when he got caught up with the Stormy Daniels thing? But how many years did he actually serve in prison? 13 months? Yeah, it's like, it's because it's child on house cross. I hope to God I'm not interpreting this as like, and I hope I'm wrong because I really, really, really don't want to say, oh, they're going to find that he's innocent. Fuck that guy. He's a fucking piece of shit. Okay. But because the child is sitting on the house of cross, it may be a small punishment. Does that make sense? Or 13. Okay. The child for time is minimum of 1 year, 13 months. I don't know if you can see that number 13, 13 months, 1 year. This is 1 year. This is lifelong with the anchor. Okay. Lifelong. Months and 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 months. Don't hold your breath because it ain't happening because there's no end in sight. Years. Okay. For timing. So the charges as the result of that, we may consider it to be small. I refuse to read this as innocent because I will be fucking pissed. I will be so fucking pissed. It's like that guy has shit all over New York. If a grand jury says that he's innocent, I will scream. I will riot. There's a couple of cases that show up next month. For the who was asking, Carol Gallagher. Yeah, fuck that guy. Sorry, lucky girl. There's like I said, we're in April. Wait, March, April. That's where legal stuff shows up because this is his current month right now. This is May. Okay. This is March. This is where the legal stuff shows up. Cross tower in the house of woman. Okay. Something legal with the woman. So I don't know if this is Letitia James, if it's E. Jean Carroll, if it's Fannie Willis. There's a woman in court or a woman in the law. And then here with the whip, legal dispute. The whip is also sex and abuse. So all the legal stuff, there's a couple of legal cases. I can't pick them apart that show up next month. And the only ones that I'm aware of are, you just mentioned E. Jean Carroll. What's her name? Letitia James, Fannie Willis. Is there another one? Because there's women in court or a woman in the law. So exactly, Sunflower. So I can't tell you who it is. I just see a woman in court or women in court or women in the law right here. Down this column, and that starts next month. If I'm interpreting this correctly, because this is March, this line, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. It could be, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea, y'all. There's just court stuff coming up next month. And because Tower sits on Housewoman, I don't even know where Alvin Bragg is. I don't even know where Alvin Bragg is. There's a Jack of Clubs right here in the following column. Followed by the Jack of Spades here down this column and the King up here, but it's too far. Oh, uh-oh. I just saw something. I'm not going to pay too much mind to it because the lighter side is to the right. So I'm not even going to touch that, but it's Tower and Clouds. That is not good. However, I have to go Tower to Clouds right here. That's really, 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 really bad. That's serious illness and tickets to the park. I'm not going to say that, however, simply because the lighter shade of the clouds is pointing that way. If it had been like this, then maybe. So it could just be talking about a serious illness. And we discussed that earlier too. A chronic illness that's around aging up here. So perhaps he'll be shitting his pants more than usual. He is a serious illness. Yeah. I don't even know where Bragg is in this tableau. I can see the women in the law or women in court very prominently. Bragg, I'm having a little bit of trouble. He could be the Fish because that's the King of Diamonds. Could be the Clouds because that's the King of Clubs. But they show up behind the Tower, not to the right. It shows up to the left. What other card? King of Hearts. It could be this right here. This is the King of Hearts, but a man from where he resides. But it's far from the Tower. It is very far from the Tower. I can't even get it tonight. Unless he's showing up as one of the Jacks here, the Whip of the Child. But usually Jacks are younger, 20 to 30s, and children. So I don't know. He was supposed to show up for the grand jury thing, and he didn't, right? Well, he didn't have to. He was invited, and he didn't. October 2nd, Trish goes to trial with her case. That's 7 months from now? Okay. Well, he's about to have a shitstorm in 7 months, because if that's true with Tish James, remember what I said when we wrap this around about 7 months, we also start seeing the stuff for the election fraud that shows up as well. because here's all of the fake electors, election fraud, overturning the government, the criminal conspiracy, the stolen documents. That shows up in about another 7 months as well. So he'll have all that shit to deal with along with Tish James. It's almost like everything. And if you follow this line too, okay, this is mail that is delayed, but it can also be a pileup anywhere where there is a pileup. So it's like a pileup of legal shit following the line this way. Let me see. I think so too, Peggy. But it's going to be a few months out. I have to wrap it around. So it's like about 7 months out or so before all of that stuff. Because in this tableau, I don't know if you were here, we have mice in the house of ring, ring in the house of mice, criminal conspiracy, an agreement to steal, an agreement between a team of people that were working to diminish or steal something with the mice. Ring, agreement, mice, thieves. Okay. We have the bear in its own house and the sun in its own house. Finance and power and energy here. This, I was talking earlier about how like both of these, because the bear is so overbearing and powerful and huge and big, it talks about control. And then the sun is so energizing and has a lot of energy. This is more like a dictator, a tyrant. Okay. So the criminal conspiracy to help him cling to power. Criminal conspiracy, bear, his paw hits the card on the bottom. He's clinging to power here through stealing something. And the meetings that he had with it. Man sits on house. Birds. Okay. I mean, the guy is a freaking moron, but you know. There might also be some sort of an investigation as well into how money was coming into the campaign, if you follow this line. But that shows up down the road, not right now, about 7 months down, maybe a little bit longer or sooner. Investigations here for something that has a pattern. Okay. Fox in the House of Whip, chronic manipulation, chronic fraud, a pattern of fraud and manipulation and cunning. Okay. Letter in the House of Tower, legal paperwork, legal mail, legal documents, official documents. Okay. With the fish here in house, letter, mail, money that was being sent by mail, checks in the mail, something, perhaps some sort of consulting stuff that they legally filed that they weren't supposed to, and then with the garden at the bottom for the campaign. So, but with Fox in the House of Whip, that's a pattern, chronic fraud, chronic cunning or conning. Something chronic at work, with reading the Fox as work, problems at work, but it's more like a very indisputable pattern of fraud. So how many fake electors have been indicted so far? Does anybody know? Because there's more fake elector stuff going on over here. But again, I'll say it again, he's got to wrap around this way. So there's more to come in regards to fake electors. Does anybody know how many have been prosecuted already? Is it 14, 27? 30. Wow. 84 people who signed bogus documents claiming that Donald Trump won the 2020 election included dozens of prominent Republicans. 16. So there's been 16 that have been indicted so far. I'm talking about fake electors who have been criminally indicted. Because there's more coming down the road. Because the thievery was very, 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 very broad and widespread. And there was an abundance of it. And then we're also talking, I don't know, for those of you that are just tuning in, down the road, also around 7 to 8 months is when the classified stuff comes back up again, because here are the legal documents that were stolen. And then the corners again with the establishment of something that was classified, that was opened and then stolen. Oh, really, Peggy? So he's not, for the timeline for this tableau, which is a year, I wouldn't be jumping for joy if I were him. I wouldn't. He might have a little tiny bit of a reprieve when he gets over here. So we may start seeing legal stuff within the next month or two. Then it looks like he's getting a little bit of a reprieve 2 months after that, a month and 2 months after that, and then the shit hits the fan right after. So, and it's like the legal stuff will be in like the early stages, and then it really picks up with the big heavy shit around the elections comes up within the next 5 to 7 months, because this would be 5, 6, 7, and that's all these 3 columns right here. So we have the stolen election, the fraudulent results, the overturning the elections, the fake electors, the stolen documents. Could be something here about weapons systems as well. There's a couple of indictments that come in here for thievery, but that comes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In about 5 months, there may be some sort of an indictment. They achieve some sort of a guilty decision, thievery here in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it has to do with criminal conspiracy, mice in the house of ring. So an agreement for people to steal something. So have fun golfing while you can, because the shit's about to hit the fan. It'll happen this year, I think. If I am interpreting this correctly. So but it looks like this one comes first. Whatever this woman in the law is, or woman in the courts, or woman in court, that comes up next month. And then there's legal fighting. And then the shit hits the fan a little bit after that with the people that agreed to steal stuff. Also, not just that, but like I was saying, this right here is also something financial. So, because this is finance. And then here's the legal disputes. But this is also sex here. Sex agreement, sex relationship. Okay. And then if you follow this line up, there's the other woman. Here with the bouquet, that's also a woman as well. She's the Queen of Spades. And she knights down here. And this one knights over here. But they're both they're both in court, and they're both sexual in some way. Queen of Spades knights here. The Queen of Clubs knights here. And they both go to the whip, which is sex. And then they both have the ring, which is relationships, very, very close by. And then there's financing here for it as well. More so for this woman here. This one, not so much. This one's the one that's closest to it. This woman here was closed off some way, shape, or form. She had a loss or something. And there's one that's a sex worker. Snake in the house of fox. Fox in the house of whip. So the other woman works for sex. That's how you would. Okay. She may have done it in the past. Whip in the house of lilies. But there's two right here. Alrighty. Well, that's all I got, y'all. I've been on for almost 2 hours now. I was just lucky girl. When I was texting with Johnny and Jenny a couple days ago, when they said that, Alvin Bragg they got the grand jury and stuff, and they invited him, and I'm, just like they said, Fannie Willis indicting is imminent. Before they invited Trump to go speak to the grand jury with Alvin Bragg, I was laughing. I was telling Johnny and Jenny, I was like, wouldn't it be hilarious if Donald Trump, out of all the charges, out of everything that's happening right now, the first thing he'll be getting indicted for is for sticking his 1 centimeter dick in a porn star for 25 seconds, and then paying her to shut up. Like, oh my God, that would be the most hilarious thing in the world. Ugh. Going to jail because you stuck your dick in a porn star for 25 seconds. Because we know, and that's me being generous. It's probably more like 2 seconds. Just saying. So, alrighty, you guys. Well, I'm done. It's 11 o'clock. So I got the notes. They're in my notebook if we need to go back and review. It's in my books. Let's see. Like I always do. Y'all know me. Y'all know me. It's right there. With today's date, March 13th, 2023. So, yep. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'll try to come back on again tomorrow. We'll see how I'm feeling. We'll see. I don't make promises because I just kind of do shit on a whim. So thank you all so much. You guys are great. You have a good evening. Bye bye.